here, video number 2. Just got through doing my recording session. I was right after Jennifer on the All Creatures. Was it HK? All Creatures Great and Small.
Of Our God and King.
Yeah, of Our God and King, and just got through making a wreck of the bass part, and so this is video number 2. The things we've got coming up. This coming Wednesday, we're going to meet in the sanctuary, and these are people that are comfortable with wearing the mask, people who have been practicing their mask wearing and social distancing on a regular basis. You know, people feel comfortable doing that, and of course we're going to space out, and we're going to sing 3 hymns.
4 hymns.
Or we're going to sing 4 hymns, okay? And do you want to tell them the names of the hymns?
The 3 hymns everybody knows, but one of the hymns will have to be "Oh Mary, Don't You Weep," and that I will send a practice tape.
Okay.
In advance. We'll need to practice that a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And let's see. Okay. So video number 2.
Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph is offering guitar lessons.
Free.
Free for anyone who is interested. How about that? And of course, you guys know he's an accomplished musician. So anyone who's ever thought about learning guitar, I would take him up on that if I were you guys. And let's see what else.
Okay, and then I will probably have 2 guest singers for online, again, vocal exercise, doing an exercise or something like that. So that's coming up. Those 2 sessions are coming up.
Right.
And actually now I will say anytime we get together like this, we're gonna do a short music session, music theory session. So Randall, if you wanna follow me here. Some of you know this already really well. Often we see this sign in the music, and that's called segno. And all these musical terms are in Italian. It just means sign. So whenever the music when you come across this sign, the segno, usually it means, it also says DS, which is dal segno, which is from the sign. So you'll have to go back when you see that and find that sign. And then it goes to, usually goes to a coda with this sign. Then you have to skip to the coda, which is the ending, like a little tail end until the fine. Or sometimes you see that sign. Actually, when the second bar is thicker, then that means that's the end. When you just see no thicker sign at second bar, then that's not the end. Or this is only a division in the music. So maybe these are the terms that you could we can brush up. One thing about, so DS is dal segno, from the sign. Sometimes you see DC, da capo, meaning the very beginning, the head of the piece. So when you see DC, then it goes to the very beginning. When you see DS, then you go to from that sign, dal segno. That's how it's called. And you sing until the fine. So each time we meet, we can go through maybe key signatures if anybody's interested, and we can do some music theories. Okay.
Yeah,
so
sounds great. Sounds great. Okay, guys.
All we need is a devotional, which you'll.
Yeah, a devotional. We'll finish this, and I was going to let you guys, don't be bashful. Only 2 people will reply to that email. I expected a lot more than 2. You know, let me know what you guys are interested in. You know, I for one am interested in training my voice, and as you can hear, I'm having a little trouble with it today, so I'm trying to figure out what that is. But if there is any certain musical context that you're interested in that you want me to maybe do some research on or ask HK about, let us know. And we'll do that. And let's see, so the devotional will be following this video.
And do not forget Wednesday, 6 p.m. in the sanctuary.
Yeah, Wednesday, 6 p.m. in the sanctuary, masks and social distancing.
And if that goes well, we'll do more of that and even prepare anthems like that.
Right. All right. So exciting things happen in the music department. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Good morning. He Kong invited me to share a few moments of devotional with you, which I'm excited to do. Randall had suggested some time ago that we might share some things with the choir just so we could stay in touch. And I think this is one way in which we can do that. I want to begin by thinking about one of the hymns that we sing often in church. It's number 400 in our hymnal. It's "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing." In that hymn, particularly in verse 3, we find these words: "Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wondering heart to thee. Prone to wonder, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love." You see, in these words, I think it suggests from the hymn writer that at times we are prone to wonder in our faith. We are prone to leave and do other things in relationship to the God we love. And for sure that's been the case in terms of the COVID virus that we've experienced for the last several months since March. We've not been able to worship as a congregation. We've not been able to come together to renew our faith in any way other than an online or visiting each other in person, and which that has been very difficult. Along with that same idea, I want to show you my plant that sits up on the shelf, my bookshelf here. This plant, fortunately, right now is green and healthy. It's a fairly new plant because I had one up there back during the early spring and so forth that I really neglected. And as you can imagine, when I neglected that plant and when I forgot to put water to it, the green leaves that were on the other one withered, they turned yellow, and they actually began to fall off. You know, I think that's kind of what the same thing that the hymn writer is talking about. Here we're prone to wonder, because when we're not renewing our spirit, when we're not renewing the nutrients and the vitamins and so forth that we need, then we begin to fall apart. And I think that's something that Adam Hamilton talks about in a book that I'm sharing some with the Friends in Faith Sunday School class. And Carol, you and Anna Carolyn have heard part of what I'm going to share as we go along here. But recently, there was a statistic come out from Barna Research, and that statistic suggested that even in this time of pandemic, that there's probably only about 1/3 of the people who used to be weekly churchgoers that are now finding any place to worship or attempting to find any place to worship in an online congregation or anything like that. So that says that there are about 2/3 of the people in our society that are not getting the renewed spirit that you get from worship service. And I think that's telling on us, because when that happens, our minds, our spirits begin to wonder, and perhaps we're going to be like my former plant, useless in terms of its beauty and in terms of it providing the things that it provides for us and sits majestically on the shelf here. So as we begin to think a little bit more about this, and you begin to look at some of the scriptures in the book of Revelation, the writer talks early in the book about several churches that were formed early on by Paul, and as a result of the work of the disciples, churches all around the area that the Gentiles, even the Jewish Christians, as they began to worship. The writer of Revelations at this point says, you know, you're beginning to wonder. He says, you have flourished, but remember the point from which you came. To another church, he says, you have stopped following the teachings of God and you've wandered back to the teachings of Baal and of Satan. To another church, he said, you're neither hot nor cold, but you're lukewarm. And lukewarm, basically, to the writer of Revelation said, means I'm going to spit you out. To another church, he said, you have little strength left. And then finally, he said, to the church, particularly at Sardis, he said, you were once alive, you were once viable, you were once like my plant, but now you are dead. So what I'm trying to convince is that we need to take these times to worship. We need to find ways in which we can connect with other people. As in the scriptures, we find the word revival from time to time. In my younger days, at being back at home in Montgomery County, every summer there was a tent revival, or there was a revival at some church. The emphasis being that at points you have to have an opportunity to put yourself back in God's favor, or remind yourself who you are and remind yourself whose you are, so that you can continue to act like that. As we begin to go ahead and as we look forward, I hope that as we take the opportunity to find out the opportunities that we have for worship, the opportunities that we have to sing in our choir, and so forth, that we can come back at some point. But in the meantime, don't let your heart wander. Keep focused on the prize. Keep focused on our God and the love that our God shares for us. But sometimes we just have to be reminded of that. Otherwise, then, we become like the churches at Laodicea. Then, you're just lost. You've lost your strength. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to be like my plant. We don't want to be like the hymn writer had said, that we wonder. But we want to be active. We want to be viable in the church. We want to keep our faith going, and hopefully we can continue to find ways to do that. Praise be to God. Thank you.